Well, hello, Claire. Thank you for joining me on the show today. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yes, fine, thank you. Thank you for asking. For those of you that don't know, Claire is Clare Bray from Westvery Property. She's a girl boss, or a lady boss, I should say, and she runs a very successful property company, completing a number of exciting projects. You're also a mummy to little Edison.
Yeah.
So cute. Yeah, I don't know how you do it all, literally. It's crazy. And husband to Brian as well. We will give him a shout out.
Wife to Brian.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, Brian. I'm really hoping that we make it through this interview without me saying anything dumb, because you have to seem to have this influence on me, like getting confused with cottage pie and cottage cheese. Literally have no idea how that happened. But I managed to do these stupid things. So that's enough of me talking. Let's hear a bit from you. So Claire, can you just tell like the viewers and the listeners just a bit about your background? So like obviously left school, where you went from there, and how you've come sort of to running your own company.
Okay, I'll try not to make this too long and boring.
No, it won't be boring. Nothing's boring.
Well, at school, this seems so long ago now, but at school I didn't know really what I wanted to do. So I did, for A-levels, I just did the subjects that I thought were most interesting, but heavily influenced by my dad, who wanted me to be a doctor. So
Oh, really?
I did biology, chemistry and maths, which was quite boring.
How do you feel about like blood and like sick and stuff like that?
No, sick I'm all right with now,
Yeah.
but blood,
You have
no.
to be, I think.
Yes.
Catch it in your hand on
After
cue.
After the story about catching baby sick in your hand, I'm very good at that. No, I didn't want to be a doctor anyway, and so I just kind of did it because he said, and I thought, all right then. A year in, when we had to choose what uni we were going to and what degree, I thought, okay, well, biology's the one I like the most. So I ended up doing that. Knew straight away I didn't want to be a scientist. I couldn't. For me, I love meeting people, I love getting out, and I thought, can you imagine being stuck in a lab? I know some people like it, but it's just so white.
Yeah, it
and
is.
it's just so sterile, and I thought, no, I can't do that. But I had actually chosen a degree where I did loads of other things. So I did psychology, loads of stuff I was interested in. But anyway, having done that degree, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought when I was younger that you just magically knew what you wanted to do when you'd finished university.
Only it was that easy.
Exactly. And I had my little life plan, which involved me kind of being married and having a job by the time I was probably 25, and that didn't happen. But anyway, you kind of learn, don't you, as you go through life? You just got to go with it.
Yeah.
And let things happen.
Things happen at the right time, I think.
Exactly.
And you certainly meet people at the right time.
Exactly, yeah, I truly believe in that. So I went to work for my mum and dad, so they had their own business. So I guess it was in the family that business owners. And I just kept thinking, I don't know what I want to do, and I was struggling. I was going to interviews. I couldn't really convince someone that I wanted that job because I didn't even really know myself that I wanted that job. And then one day, this talent kind of recruiter just said to me, what is exactly that you actually like doing? There must be something you like doing. And I was like, well, I like watching Property Ladder. I like watching people redeveloping houses and then making money out of it. She was like, right, okay, well, yeah, we haven't really got anything for you that's suitable. But why don't you try and get a job doing that? So my dad had always said to me, you need to be a professional, you need to qualify as something. And I'd sort of looked into accountancy and that kind of thing, and it didn't really appeal. And then I found out about being a chartered surveyor, which strangely enough, no one really tells you about at school, or my university definitely not, because it wasn't one of their degrees. So I looked into it, did loads of research, found out I could do a postgraduate degree and then convert my degree into a surveying degree.
That's awesome.
So I joined up with, it was University of Reading, but a distance learning, and then I just had to get a job, property related job. So like you say, things happen at the right time. I just found one in Maidstone, and it was perfect because although I was doing kind of admin-y type role, I got the chance to do everything. And then it kind of went on from there. So within a year, I managed to get a job in London because I had experience. Then I worked for some top companies in London. I kind of had a break when we got married. I went travelling for a while, came back, worked in-house, so a bit different. They owned property. Until I thought, right, I really want to start my own business. I don't want to be working with someone. It can be quite annoying when someone's telling you what to do and you don't think it's the right thing, but you have to just do it. And then I met my then business partner who and became very good friends with him, and we decided to set up a business. And for a long time I was basically doing my job and having my own business.
Wow.
Until I just kind of thought I can't handle this anymore because it was 13-hour days in London and it was just too much. So I made the jump to become self-employed.
Amazing.
So that was quite a long version.
No, I thought it was really interesting. So basically what you're telling me is that you went on this path that you're currently on because someone asked you what you liked and you said you like watching a TV show.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
But
And
I just focused my mind, I thought, what do I actually really like? And I thought, this is silly. And she said, no, there are careers that revolve around that. There's a career for everything, isn't there?
Well, there is.
So
I was about to go off down a very salacious path, but we'll leave it there. But yes, there is indeed a career for everything, I do believe. And you can monetise most things nowadays, which is really interesting.
And if you want to have your own business, you just work hard, and as long as you've got... The biggest thing is having a passion for it, isn't it? So as long as you have the passion, then you'll make it work.
Yeah,
but if you're doing something you're just not interested in, it's never really...
Then it does seem like a grind, doesn't it?
Exactly. And it was the same for me at school. I did well in the subjects I enjoyed, and I could have done well in the others, but they were just so boring that I really found it really hard to concentrate on them. And I think it's probably the same for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. So, from finding your passion, how do you find, obviously, because you go through on the daily basis, you have, you still get a lot of challenges being, a business owner. I feel like it's like this roller coaster where you go up and down, the peaks and troughs. And literally I get to a peak and I go like this because I don't want the trough to come. So how do you, you said obviously it's very important to do something that you're passionate about. How do you keep that alive, sort of in the daily, day-to-day running of things? Or how is it just because you have those days where you feel like, that's it, it's really tough, I've just got to get through it? Or
yeah, I think that is it. I think if you're very passionate about something, then it's easy to see the positive in it. I think I am quite a positive, naturally person, so I find it really hard to kind of dwell on things anyway. Or there are days that are really rubbish, of course there is, and I don't think... even when people are saying to me, I'm thinking about going into business, I do say, look, some of it's going to be really awful. But you just have to keep thinking, right, it's not going to be like this forever. I'm good at what I do. We just need to get through this bit. We just need to think about what's going to be like in the future. And then you do get through it.
Yeah.
There's not anybody that doesn't get through it. So you just have to, one way or another, you are going to get through it.
Yeah, and that's really important, I think, to recognise, because, like you say, you've been through, we're going to move on to, you have been through a really tough business journey and transition over the last couple of years. But I think recognising that nothing lasts forever is important. And also, what you said there is very important, because I am good at what I do, and to keep reminding yourself that you are good at what you do and have the faith in yourself is so important, I think, as well.
Yeah. And also surround yourself by people who are similar to you, or they have their own businesses. I've got a lot of very good friends who don't have their own businesses. They're a support in one way, and then I've got good friends who do have their own businesses, and they understand, and they maybe can't. They might be able to give you some advice or something they're similar. It doesn't even have to be exactly the same, but they can say, "Oh, yeah, why don't you try this?" Or they can just say, "Yep." Yeah. It's rubbish, isn't it?
I think
don't worry.
Sometimes that's all you need, though, isn't it? Because you have your friends and they work the 9 to 5, or they've been in, and it's because obviously I think we've both been in. We're not like the people that have literally gone from school to being your own, being your own person, your own boss with your own schedule and everything. Having worked a job, you do understand how you're in that sort of slot, and then you don't have the same level of responsibility at all as you do when you're in a business. Obviously, you take your job seriously.
Yeah.
But when my people my friends that work in a normal job, if you like, or a 9 to 5 job, for someone else is probably the best way to put it. They're like, come to the party, let's go. And you're like, I've got to work. And then usually by the 4th time they've asked you, come to the party, and you're still like, no, I've got to work. They give up.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, you can do it. Have a day off, lying on a Sunday, do what you like. And it's like, oh, it's not kind of like that.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Because you never stop thinking about it. You don't have home time where you just switch off and that's it. I suppose I never really did that even when I had a job. I still would go home and work.
Yeah.
If it's in your nature, it's in your nature.
Definitely.
But, it is hard to just say, oh, I'm not going to think about it today. You think about your own business all the time.
Definitely. It's like this child. It's not a child. It's just this problem child that's always there. I do think sometimes. But so, like, you were doing 13-hour days. So the first transition, I suppose, that you went through was when, well, you went through many, but when you went from working full-time in London to running a business as well as working. So you're doing 13-hour days.
Yeah, well, of my job.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, and then coming home and working on my other...
In the evenings?
Yeah, I did a little bit during working hours. Lunch hours only, I'm sure.
Everyone does it. Sorry, boss. Yeah.
But yeah, I did it when but I'd kind of gone through, so before that, when I first had, obviously I was saying I did my postgraduate, and then I got a job in London, so I had a very long, hard job, but I was also studying for that, and then I was doing my APC, which is what you do to qualify, and also I was running the Kent Matrix, which is like the young surveyors, so I kind of, I'd already experienced having loads of things. I quite enjoy that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I already had. I kind of had a bit of a break in the middle, and then it was quite nice to have a lot to do again. So
no, I get
it.
James is like, you thrive on the stress. You love running around like a crazy person.
It is easier to work under pressure, though, isn't it?
Yeah. No. Yeah, it is, because otherwise you just tend to sort of drift.
Yeah. I'll just sit here for a while.
I'll wait until I've got 1 hour to do it, and then I'll start. But then that's just like different people work well. Other people will be like putting their hair out. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you two work like that. But it's whatever works for you again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like people will want to start.
People who do their homework the day they get it.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, why? I'm still doing the homework that I got given 2 weeks ago, so I'm not going to do that.
I love it.
But you have to, like you said, people are different, and it doesn't mean you're any worse at what you do.
No.
If that's the way you work best, you have to work. There's no point trying to force yourself to be something that you're not.
Yeah.
Because it might worry people to think, oh, I'm your client and you left everything to last minute. But you leave enough time, but you just need to do it the way that you do it, don't you?
Yeah. And because it's your, like, I suppose your business, your reputation, you will always give it 100% and give it your best effort and make sure, I know you and I like to have the perfectionist approach to things, and we're trying to do this, done is better than perfect, but like nearly perfect has to tick the box.
That's true. I think probably what we think isn't perfect would be perfect for someone else.
Exactly. You will still give that level of diligence to your customers, won't you?
It's
just a different way of operating.
You just might not have kind of written it all down or
actualised it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's good. So how did you survive doing the 13-hour days and doing the bits in the evening and obviously at weekends? Were you really focused, or how did that?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, my job was quite hard going in the sense that there was a lot to do. So I didn't really have much time to think about anything else while I was doing that. And there was so much to do that, I mean, that could have gone. So as an asset manager then, and you know, it's never ending. So I could have spent all evening and all weekend doing that if I wanted to. But I would just go and get the train, switch off for a little while. My original plans was I'd do a bit of work on the train, but then in the end I thought, no, I just need, it's only 35 minutes or something, isn't it? So I just need that bit. Then generally I'd get home, have some dinner, and then I work quite well. The thing is, I work well in the evenings, so it's...
Why?
Yeah, so then I think, I get a lot of work done at that point. I'm definitely a night person rather than morning.
Yeah. But people have those slots. I tend to find, within the structure of a 9-to-5 job, I was very productive sort of up until about 11 o'clock or 1:30 tops, and then I just completely lose interest and I'm so unproductive in the afternoon, and then I perk up about sort of like 5-6 o'clock, and then I'm ready to go until like 12-1 o'clock.
Yeah, same as me, yeah.
So, but yeah, the problem is with like having a 9-to-5 job is you don't have that flexibility.
No, you can't choose. You can possibly go in a bit later, but I mean, it has all changed now. I've got a baby, so I can't quite be that person anymore, because suddenly I do have to get up early every day, and so it is different. But yeah, that's one of the things about working for yourself, though, isn't it? That you can. I mean, we still are in the office every day, but it's just you can come in a bit later if you want to, or if you need to leave, you can leave.
Exactly.
It's nice that I couldn't go back. I don't think I could go back for working for somebody.
Well, it's just a totally different animal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, obviously it's really great that you can kind of negate some responsibility and you don't have to worry, and obviously the buck stops with someone else.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
not your money on the line.
Exactly, but you're not master of your own ship. and you're not steering the vessel. Therefore, everyone, I think, you do get lulled into I've been there too, you get into the sense that having a salary and having a job, you're safe and you're stable, but you don't realise how easy someone can go, right, thank you very much, you P45, you've done really well, really sorry, but the company's not going where we want. See you later. You just think you're really you're secure and everything, but... And
because I was made redundant from one job.
Really?
Before we got married and went travelling, and I was planning to leave anyway. I don't know whether they caught wind of that, but I thought, I'm completely safe because I've got such a high workload. There's no way that... And a few people have been made redundant, but I thought, there's no way I will be. And it was in 2010, so we're kind of out of most of the redundancies, and then they put me on notice, and I just couldn't believe it, because I thought, well, I've got so much work, how can you possibly... And everyone in my team had so much work, it wasn't as though...
Really?
And then, it was all done quite badly, and I was the only one at risk, so it was quite... I kind of knew who was going to be chosen.
Jeez. Did that change your attitude to working, for someone else? Did that really make it hit home?
Yeah, because that was before, obviously, I decided to set up a business. I don't think I'd ever thought I was going to work for someone for the rest of my life, but I think you're right, it did. I suddenly thought to myself, hopefully it didn't make me bitter about it, but I just thought, you know what, everybody looks out for their own company first. Of course they do. They can't, like you say, they'll be like, well done, you've done a great job, but they're not going to keep you on if it's going to, be detrimental to the detriment of them, exactly. Business.
Yeah.
So, and I do say this to people, some people have so much loyalty to a company, but they will have to make the right decision at the end, of the right decision for them, not you.
Exactly. It's tricky. But yeah. So you transitioned, obviously, from full-time work, working all the hours that God gave, into running your own company. And then how long was that before you had Edison? Because then obviously you had to go for another transition.
Yeah. So I left... I'm trying to think of the dates now. So I left working full-time... working for someone else.
Working full-time and doing my own business. So I left doing 2, 3, 4 jobs.
I left having an actual income. That was quite a sad day. I left there in 2014. And then I had Edison in 2017. So it was 3 years of having my own business. I haven't stopped having my own business, but yeah, then I had Edison, which actually came... probably not the best timing to have a baby.
Is there ever a best time? I don't think there ever is a good timing.
I don't think there is. So my company at that point, that with my ex-business partner, we'd decided to end the company. So that was all kind of it was all right, but it was a bit difficult. And then I had Edison. I do feel like I did have a nice period where I didn't really have to think about that. We'd started a new business, but we had started a new business. So we started our business, Westvery Property, at the end of 2016, basically at the same time as I found out I was pregnant. So I had like a 9-month run-in of trying to get the business established, and then had Edison. So that was quite a difficult time.
You do not do things by halves. Bless you.
So yeah, that was... I don't regret... because I had as much time off as I wanted, and I wouldn't do it that way again because it was stressful in one. But I don't look back and think of the stress of it.
No,
I still think of how much time I got to spend with him, and
which is
the
important.
company was all right. It survived through it, so it's just hard. You don't realise how much you're going to need to put into being a mum. It might sound a bit silly, but you sort of feel like it's going to be a bit easier. You can get someone to look after him, and you can go back and actually that's really hard.
Yeah.
Because you've suddenly got this little thing that just wants you, and you're just torn.
Bless you. So it makes things much harder, doesn't it? Oh, so because I can't. Obviously, I don't have children, so I can't really imagine it. But like you say, yes, you can get people to come and look after him, but it's the emotional impact it has on both of you. And
I totally thought, I'm a career woman, and that's what I've worked so hard, and people used to say to me, you might not want to go back to work, and I was, well, that's not going to happen because I've worked so hard, and it hasn't happened, but I didn't realise how difficult it would be. In my head I was going to have a couple of weeks off, and then I thought, well, then I'll get people to help me, and and he'll be fine, and I'll just and then you're just, I don't know whether it's hormonal or it's just your instinct, but you just can't, the thought, Brian used to say to me, do you fancy going to a networking evening? And I'd think, no. what? Why would I go out and talk to people about what? Unless I can talk about my baby, then what am I going to talk about? And I can't even believe I thought that back then, but I totally did think that. Like, I couldn't understand, like, I just couldn't comprehend doing...
Leaving
we were still working, but not to go out for an evening. I mean, I just wouldn't have... Apart from the fact you've also had a baby and you just probably haven't washed your hair for about 2 weeks.
Exactly. Literally don't know how you do it. Because I bet you were still on your emails and everything, weren't you?
Yeah.
Baby and emails and everything. Oh my gosh.
People laughed at me because they saw me posting things about like flats, rooms we had to rent and that kind of thing when I was in hospital, like getting ready to have Edison.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh yeah, we've got a room. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh. So do you have to be, obviously before you were 1, possibly 2 if you had to organise Brian, but now you're 2/3 people that you have to organise. Do you have to like really be really disciplined and really organised and really sort of like routine driven, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean I am very organised. You do need to be...
That's why we're friends.
Have this
One of the
like
reasons.
kindred.
Yeah.
Yes, we like being organised.
Organised people stick together.
Yeah. Everyone else annoys us.
Yeah. It's just like when some we can go. This is a whole nother podcast. How disorganisation impacts you mentally when you're an organised person. But yeah,
and you'll probably, if you ever have a child, you'll find it stressful because you cannot, as much as you can be. So you can have a routine, as in this is the order we do things in, but to try and have a schedule, I mean that just doesn't happen with a child because they will always do something just at the time when you need to.
This is so true. Literally, I had a friend and he was in the parachute regiment, and his one saying, which is so true in life, he used to say, "No plan survives contact with the enemy." And he is so right in that, because as soon as you have a plan and then you bring in someone else, or you bring in a child or something, and it never survives, and there's always that third element or third thing that you haven't planned. Like, I don't know.
Because you just don't know what's going to happen, do you? So you can't plan it. But you can plan what you will do if something happens, and then you just have to kind of go with it and see whether that happens or not. Or maybe assume that every time you're about to leave the house, there will be a massive poo explosion or something. And then if it doesn't...
Prepare for the poo explosion.
Or sick. Learn how to catch the sick.
Ready to go. One each end. Oh dear. Oh, we've got to get back on topic. So... Obviously, what you've described sounds really challenging to me, but you've obviously managed to come through it and establish a very successful business. Aside from all the stuff and the catching of poo and sick and everything, has there been any other challenges in your business career that have really impacted you and like changed the way that you've done things, or?
Yeah, so I think I've already mentioned about my old business. That was a very stressful time, and my business partner, like I say, when I met him, we were best friends, or he's one of my best friends. And unfortunately, it was good for a long time, but then we went in different directions. I mean, and that's one thing I have learned. It's easier when it's your husband, but hopefully you don't go in different directions.
Yeah.
But when it's somebody, it doesn't matter how good friends you are. If you want different things and you're moving, it can get very stressful. And I used to think of it as a bit like a marriage, because we had loads of properties we owned. They were like our children in a way. We didn't, the thought of splitting it up meant splitting all of those. It was so much work that you end up trying to keep it going when actually you're both unhappy. And you have to kind of just make that decision, which we did. And then I sort of learnt the hard way that you can't do things on friendly basis when it's business. You have to put things in writing. Like, unfortunately, we didn't really have anything in writing. If you're thinking of going into business with anyone, get a legal agreement in place, anything, just something that says, who's doing what happens if you decide to end, or that kind of thing. And people can change, can't they? So, they can become people you don't really recognise anymore, which is what happened. And so it was a very stressful time, and it's still stressful because as it's properties and there's other things, banks and things involved, it's going on, and you have to keep trying to fight through it and keeping your head above the water. But again, it's like I said earlier, you just keep thinking it's not going to be like this forever. We're going towards an end. So it's, but we're 2 years down the line, and 3 3 years nearly down the line, and
Oh my goodness.
and it's still there. So
It's still going on, still hanging around like a bad smell.
yeah.
It's just it's like you say with property. These and I find that quite a few things with business. Some things are very fast paced and they move very quickly. Other things, they are just very long and drawn out and they take a long time. Especially if there's other parties involved and they're providing information, you're providing information, and they're not talking, and then you're providing it, and you're just hitting your head against the wall. It's really in everyone's best interest, obviously, to wrap this up as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't.
It goes on and on.
Yeah, it does just go on and on sometimes. Yeah. And I think that's really hard. Like, especially if you've been really, really good friends or your business partner, that that person becomes someone that you don't even recognise.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
And your emotions are involved.
Yeah.
And you've got to try and separate your emotions from your business, and that's hard. And
Really
you've got all
hard.
kind of regret, or you wish it had worked out. And it will work out. And I've learned a lot from what's happened. I'd say I've learned that. I think at first I just thought, you feel like why do I don't deserve this?
No.
Why has this happened? Why is he? But I kind of realised that you do have people like that in the world, and not everyone's like that. And you just need to keep being who you are, keep being genuine, keep being doing everything that don't let that affect you or make you into someone you're not. And people will rally around you. You've got your friends, even people who I hardly knew have been there for support, and they've helped us get through this. And I probably will work with them again in the future. So all of those positives are so much bigger than the negative that's kind of gradually fading, because it's you don't have to. But back then it was awful, and it made me into somebody I wasn't, and it wasn't. I can look back now and say that, but at the time I didn't realise for a long time. But I had to try and pull myself back out of it.
But I think that the way that you have basically relayed that whole episode of your life now is testament to the person you are, because it would be really easy to sit here and go, he's and it's all his fault, and I can't believe it, and I don't deserve this, and everything. But you haven't, and you've just gone, this is what I've learned, I am fine, I'm not that kind of person, so I'm going to rise above it. Yeah. And you can still feel like the warmth of your personality, and how the genuineness of your character that comes across. And yes, it's been a really difficult time, but you stayed integral to who you are, which is really important.
But you don't want somebody else to make you, people who kind of, I understand it, getting really annoyed, and maybe you have a little bit where you get annoyed about it. But then what does that do? Just makes you a bitter person, and it just eats you inside, and then that person's got another one over you, really, haven't they? Because they're not going to care that you're not that person anymore. They don't even really care about you anymore. They've moved on, and you need to not care about them and just get on with life and move on to bigger and better things.
Onwards and upwards. Yeah. I know there's definitely there's bigger and better things definitely in the pipeline for you. Talk me through the next sort of where's Westvery Property going in next stages, and what have you got in the pipeline?
So we have, our company has kind of 3 arms, so development, investment and services. So services, it's doing work for other people. So we have clients, that's property management, lettings, coordinating projects. We're effectively a project manager. That's just going to kind of grow. We're putting a lot more time into that. Our website's going to be done soon, hopefully.
Cool.
We'll just build that. It's nice to have that kind of arm of the company, and then we use those people for ourselves.
Yeah.
The investment and development, hopefully we'll just be doing a lot more investment, a lot more development. We're looking at a few things at the moment. So the way it works is we have people that partner with us, or they invest money with us.
Okay.
And we explain everything. They know exactly what they're investing into. And then we do these projects, and they can be as involved as they want. So they get to have a little, you might have some money, but not enough to do it yourself, or you don't have the expertise. And then we like working with people who we get on with, and, can have a bit of fun with, but, you also really enjoy it, and that's who you want to work with, really, isn't it? You don't want to be...
Exactly. You have to work with people you get along with, which is really important.
And who you have similar... Well, you can tell when you meet someone,
goals,
can't you?
and I think you do know. And I think especially if you've been through a scenario where you perhaps been burnt, or moving swiftly on, or you meet a lot of different people. There is always that time when you go, oh yeah, I like you. Let's do something together.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just can meet one person and you don't even really chat, and you think, oh, you can tell they're like you. There's a lot of people you might meet and like, but you wouldn't
like,
kind of be friends with them.
Yeah.
You just think, oh, they're all right.
Yeah.
And I always thought, oh, you wouldn't still get that when you're in your 30s. I mean, that's kind of something you have at school.
Yeah.
But it's not, is it?
No.
You meet people all the time.
I think, like, yeah, it's something that you'll just get through the rest of your life, and it's just really, like, it's an intuition thing, or a meeting of, like, energies, or, like, you know, that sort of thing.
You can recognise similarities.
Exactly,
or,
yeah. No, 100%. No, it's really exciting. So lots going on, and I'm sure, as I said, it will be a great success. If people want to get in touch with you and, like, I don't know, maybe for advice, or they want to speak to you about your journey, or they want to see how the companies are doing, where can people, like, find you on, like, social media and the internet and that?
Well, we've got a Facebook business page, Westvery Property. So that's if you wanted to have a look and see the kind of things we've been doing. We put quite a lot of photos on there, all the before and afters. Everyone loves those. Brian and myself have got LinkedIn profiles. I'm not 100% good at replying to those, but I will. If anyone contacts me, you just get, like, social media overload, and then I forget they're there. And then, no, I won't. If anyone contacts me,
she will reply, people.
I will. There's just all those recruiters and other people trying to sell you things, you know. So they can contact me in there. We'll have a website soon, but it's not quite up yet, almost finished. Or they can contact you and ask you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put all the details, your contact details, in the comment, and we'll tag you up on social media, of course. Okay. So people can find you.
So if they want to email me, that's definitely the easiest way to get hold of me.
We'll put your email in the comments. Yeah. All right, awesome. Anything else you want to add, or have you?
I don't think so.
No.
Unless you've got anything.
No, I think you've been brilliant. What's your one piece of, like, your biggest learning point?
Oh God. I don't know. I don't know whether there's really one thing. I think just stay positive. You know, just keep thinking about the positive things.
Times.
Yeah, try not to think of. You need to deal with it, obviously, and talk to people, but then just keep focusing on your end goal, and then you will get through it.
Deal with it, and what was the other thing? Stay integral to you.
Yeah, and be yourself. Don't let anybody dampen your spirit or your true character. And if you feel like someone's doing that, then you need to just get out of there. You know, the people you surround yourself with are it will reflect how you are. Yeah. And you can be around the wrong people, and they really have a bad effect on you. But you just need to recognise it and get rid of them. Not get rid of them. Also.
Get rid of the, like, just depart, the exit.
Stop spending time with them.
Yes, exactly. Oh, what a note to end on. Claire, thank you so much. You've been amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.